Is that a bad thing?
Oh
damn.
boy.
That's not the way you're supposed to do it now.
Oh jeez.
Sorry.
Peace, fellas.
Ah, jeez.
Sorry.
Uh-huh. It's pronounced Suri.
Hey, enough.
What?
It's enough.
Huh?
Very racist.
I love Canada. All right. Hello and welcome to episode 619 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, September 18th, 2018. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Stewart.
Hello.
And joining us from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Greetings.
And for the first time in a long time, from the great state of Utah,
Really like that one.
Mr. Mike
No,
Phillips.
I was just suddenly reminded what drove me away. And all came rushing back.
Every week is a fresh hell.
Mhm.
Mr. Mike Phillips, welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
Mike's back.
Let me tell you, you have picked an amazing week to be back on the show. Not only was there a Nintendo Direct, but there was also an Apple event.
Oh,
right.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Boy. Do you remember when the whole idea was to make phones smaller?
And
No, I
not
don't.
cost as much as a mortgage.
Yeah. Those are good days. I was happy with those days.
They
Yeah.
were good days.
What
I
phone do you
assume-
even get now? I
Yeah.
watch that. I follow that. and
one of
I'm
each.
Still unclear on what I should get.
All of
What
the
should I
above. Just all.
Which phone did Charlotte get? Which phone did you pre-order for Charlotte?
None. No phone. She has an
Hmm.
iPad. A hand-me-down.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And her own Switch.
And her own Switch.
Good lord.
Speaking of Switch,
Oh boy.
Here we go.
let's talk about the
I don't
Nintendo
even have a
Direct.
device that plays the Super Mario theme song.
let's
goddammit.
talk about 5 new games and 50 old games.
Yes.
No.
No. Mike, do you have a Switch?
No.
You have not
Really?
caved yet.
No.
You
There's
just got
still
2. You can
nothing
have one of
that-
those.
Yeah.
Makes me want one yet.
Nothing?
So
Okay.
no, not really.
Is there a game that would push you over the edge?
Um,
Are you a Metroid Prime 4?
Real
Are you
Zelda,
an
perhaps.
Animal Crossing person?
no. I don't think any of those are enough.
Okay.
I
Really?
don't think there's any Nintendo property.
What
that's
about
enough.
what about some ports of old Wii and Wii U games?
Okay, keep talking. Keep
Okay.
talking.
They've added Peach to New Super Mario Brothers U.
It's true.
Okay.
You may remember
That is
New
true.
Super Mario Brothers U from 2010, 8,
No,
'Cause I
7,
didn't
somewhere
own
in there.
that console either.
2012
Oh,
is when
sorry,
New
2012.
Super Mario Brothers U came out.
All I
with-
know is
with
it
the Wii
came
U.
out before my last daughter was born. So
Well, it's not really Peach though, right?
It's Peachette,
No,
right?
it's Peachette. Yeah.
Peachette, which is a mutated Toadette.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can play as Nabbit also.
Right.
Anyway, we're jumping ahead in the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, that was
As I was hoping we would.
the Super Mario
Yeah.
U talk is a good hour away.
Yeah, exactly. They kicked it off by showing Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Switch.
That I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, very excited.
And I'm
I-
guessing Next Level's working on that, although they haven't said.
I would assume.
But we
That's
did-
maybe about as close as you could get me to Tempted. 'Cause
yeah,
that would be pretty great. I
Yeah.
love those games.
very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are fun games.
Yeah, from the footage that was shown and some of the key art, some folks have surmised that it takes place in a hotel, like a large multi-story skyscraper.
Hotel Mario.
Finally, the CDI crossover we've been hoping for.
There you go.
It's canon.
And
Mm.
it looks great. I like if you had told me back when the GameCube game came out and everybody hated on it that we were ever going to get a sequel to Luigi's Mansion, let alone a third game, I would have called you
Yeah.
crazy. But here it is, Luigi's Mansion 3.
I'm very
So,
excited.
Very,
Very
very excited about that.
Should be good.
Then we went into some 3DS stuff. We have
we're going through minute by minute on this, aren't we?
We don't really need to sit on the 3DS stuff too much. It's all
okay, fine.
It's all
He's
remakes.
just reading from his live blog.
A bunch of remakes. And of course, as Greg mentioned, New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, which includes New Super Luigi U, which is a great platformer. I played through both of those and enjoyed them a lot.
I played through them too 6 years ago.
Sure. I thought you didn't play through Luigi U.
You're right, I didn't. I wasn't crazy about the New Super Mario Brothers stuff, to be honest.
Okay.
Look, don't spoil the joke.
Yeah. Shut up. Move on.
We're getting Katamari Damacy Reroll.
I went through my notes and put original release year beside every one of the old games.
Oh.
Wait. Hold that up again.
You took notes?
Because I don't know what else I just showed everybody.
Did you always do that? Is that something that you always did?
I usually do that for E3. If I know we're going to be talking about it on the show, I like to do it for Directs and E3.
Dear
just
diary,
list the games. Just list the games.
You're a professional.
A new video game today.
I've got notes from.
There are websites that have a list of everything they showed on the Nintendo Direct.
This is what I do.
Just drink.
Exactly.
Heavy drinking.
I just wait for CJ to recount it all to me.
Yeah, Phil doesn't even pay attention.
Well, fine. Then we'll just
literally
we'll just go.
No, don't skip over Katamari. That's the one I'm potentially most excited about.
Well, there you go.
Game again.
Katamari Damacy Reroll, a remake of the PS2 game in nice high def graphics.
I love Katamari.
It's a great game.
Really do.
Yeah.
I actually just purchased from the good folks at Mondo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is.
They make hipster art posters and T-shirts and vinyl collectible albums.
That checks out. You are the definition of hipster.
Thank you. Thank you. And they just they put out a repress of the Katamari soundtrack on vinyl. I am not so hipster that I have dove into the vinyl collecting, so I did not get that.
Collecting?
Yeah, they're vinyls.
Yeah,
vinyls.
Not right. First of all, come on. But I picked up a Katamari pin and a T-shirt from them, so I'm very excited.
Put that with your Player One podcast pins.
We'll see.
There you go.
We'll see.
Then we get into some Nintendo Switch Online information. Some nice animated cinematics starring the Mario characters, and we got some more information on the
I hate you.
the NES library that we're getting this month, and actually we all of the updates until the end of the year.
Oh man.
So now we know which games are included and which are not, and I'm very happy to say Urban Champion is not one of them.
Well, what do you know?
So I win the bet.
I'm happy.
CJ is
Urban
in favor of
Champion's
less choice. Just so you know, that's what CJ is saying. He wants fewer games.
I am happy that Urban Champion is not included in the roster.
I mean, we all have at least 10 copies of that game floating around. So
of course, we've played it. Yeah, and besides, we're getting Wario's Woods in December, so
Jesus,
hold on to your controllers for that.
You want to know a secret about Wario's Woods?
What's that?
Not a very good game.
I thought that wasn't a secret.
So I guess
not
this
a
is
secret.
pretty much proof now that this is a Netflix style service for these games, right? I mean, everybody has access to them. That's cool.
That's right. Everybody has access.
And thank God you can finally play Ice Climbers online co-op.
That's right. They have online connectivity. You can play games like Legend of Zelda that don't have online play. You can play them with somebody else, and it's just passing the controller back and forth.
How do you do that?
So is
by pressing buttons.
Okay. Mike froze.
A separate.
Mike froze. Yeah. Say that again.
Is that part of the subscription service, or do you have to pay extra for those games?
It is part of the subscription service. You pay your $20 a year, and you get access to the library of NES games. Yeah. and they include online play and save states too. I don't know if you saw the little video on Nintendo's website, but you can do 4 save slots
Per game.
Yeah,
I have an NES Classic.
This is pretty good. I think they'll probably. I'm guessing they'll probably screw it up by drip feeding, ancient titles.
Well,
they never get
week by
around
week,
to Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
they have already announced the lineup through the end of the year, and it's 3 games per month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's terrible.
Why is that terrible?
Let's see.
Why is that terrible? How many NES games are there?
700 NES games.
Games a month is terrible.
Divided by 3 per month.
Well, It starts off with 20 games, and then I shouldn't say they're only going to do 3 games. We know 3 games per month. They've revealed 3 of the games they're doing up through December. So October,
because they might over deliver on this because that's sort of their history.
Yeah, exactly.
At this rate, we can have the entire NES library up in approximately 20 years.
Excellent.
At least 2 of us will be dead by then.
Hey,
October.
Hey,
I didn't say it was going to be you.
Solomon's Key NES Open Tournament Golf, Super Dodgeball. In November,
Open Tournament Golf is good. And
Metroid, Mighty Bomb Jack, and Twin Bee. And in December, we get Wario's Woods, Ninja Gaiden, and The Adventures of Lolo.
There's some good games in there. I don't feel like we should have to wait till December for 5 good games, but
what's interesting?
What's that?
I mean, let's temper our definition of interesting.
Consider mine tempered.
Nothing said on this show so far.
But Twin Bee is getting released over here as Twin Bee and not under its localized NES title of Stinger.
That's true.
So
there you go.
Make a note of that for trivia night.
But so the launch titles include a bunch of third-party games as well. So
that's interesting.
They'd revealed 10 games prior to this, and they were all Nintendo first party.
Right.
But the final list includes stuff like Double Dragon and River City Ransom and Tecmo Bowl and Gradius and what else?
If they did this with Super NES games, I would probably get a Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I mean, I'm glad they're doing a Netflix style thing because the library, and that's what they should do with this. Sad that they're drip feeding, which we all knew they would, but it would be so great to sort of do a shotgun blast of a lot of the games that they had for Virtual Console on the Wii. I mean, all those different consoles they had. You can you do the same announcement and say, 20 NES games, 10 Super Nintendo, Genesis, Master System, TurboGrafx 16, maybe some Neo Geo stuff. And then we'll drip feed like 2 or 3 a month of those as well. But I'm all over it.
The Arcade Archives is already doing the Neo Geo stuff.
But you have to buy those separately, one at a time. This is...
Yeah.
Don't apologize, Johnston.
I'm not apologizing. I'm excited to play Double Dragon again.
You excited to play Balloon Fight again?
Are you really?
No.
Okay.
I mean, and CJ, you have an NES Classic, right?
I have an NES Classic, yes.
What's keeping you from playing Balloon Fight on that? Tough guy?
Nothing.
The game
or
sucks.
on the 3DS or the Wii U.
Okay.
I mean, no, because this is the way they should be. You shouldn't have to pay for those games separately. Having them as sort of a jump in and play just to waste a few minutes
and having
here.
Them as a portable.
Perfect. Yes, perfect.
Is good too.
It's great.
Yep.
And we're getting pro wrestling in this lineup of 20 games for the first time in a long time.
Well, first time since the NES.
First time since the NES.
We're getting ice hockey, but somebody needs to get Blades of Steel on there because that was
Blades of Steel.
That was the best.
That was a good game.
Blades of Steel is good. Yeah, very, very good. So that the online service launches this upcoming week. So we'll
get your $20 ready.
Get your $20 ready, or you can do a family plan for $34.99. And they did confirm that if you are a multiple Switch household, it covers your whole family even if you have multiple Switches.
That's good.
There you go.
I like that.
How many of you are MSHs?
Just me. Just me.
Yeah.
The other thing, so they're doing special offers with the with the online service, and this was sort of a nebulous thing before. People thought, oh, they're doing special offers, discounts on the eShop stuff, and that may be true at some point. But for the launch of the Nintendo Switch Online service, they're doing Nintendo Entertainment System controllers for the Switch. These are wireless control pads that are styled like the NES, that are only available to people who are subscribers to the service. And you can order them from Nintendo.com, and they're $59.99 for the set of 2.
Yes.
They look awesome, but that means that it's going to cost me $100, and I can't see spending $100 on those.
Probably.
And they don't look awesome when they're attached to the Switch.
No.
They don't look
They
awesome
look
attached to the
ridiculous.
Switch.
But you are in luck because you cannot actually use them while they are attached to the Switch.
Yeah.
It's only for charging.
That's only for charging them. They only work, Mike.
Yeah, when they're detached.
Mike, I see Mike is loading up Amazon right now, hoping to place an order for that Switch. They only work when they are detached from the system. They only work with the NES games. You cannot use them to play, say, the Messenger,
that makes sense,
or something else.
You know,
Yeah,
they don't have as many buttons.
Not yet, until the internet complains, and then maybe.
No, that'll never happen.
Probably not.
They can't. You know, the Switch has 4 face buttons and 2 shoulder buttons. It's never going to work.
It's not possible.
No.
Can't do it. Can't be done.
So,
and then the other special offer is exclusive Splatoon 2 in-game gear that you get.
There you go.
That's it.
So I assume that as soon as the service launches, that means things like Mario Kart 8 and Splatoon 2, you can't play online if you're not a member.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
People are going to love that.
But hey, Fortnite, you can still play without.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Can you really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
interesting.
All right.
Why is that? Is that just because they basically said you can't put our game behind a paywall? Is that?
I don't know. They may have a similar policy as Sony does. Sony has the whole you don't have to be a Plus member to play free-to-play games online.
I think it's a matter of them not wanting to risk losing a whole bunch of money in order to get a little bit of money.
Wait, what about Sony?
What about Sony?
I don't care. Anyway.
Man.
So can we talk about for a minute how exciting the idea of board games coming back to a console is?
It is very exciting.
I'm very excited about that. Although, am I hearing that they don't have online play?
I didn't hear that.
Really?
Yeah, which kind of
I heard
mystifying.
Settlers of Catan, and that's the best possible thing ever. I like it.
Yeah, I am like legitimately happy because that was something that when it was happening on Xbox Live, I loved it. I love being able to play board games on Xbox Live. I discovered some board games that I love now because of that. But
do you ever play any of them on your iPad or iPhone? Because most of them are available on iOS.
A little bit. I played a lot of Ticket to Ride on my iPad.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
And again, that was a game that I started to love because I discovered it on Xbox Live. Yeah, still digging it. I hope it does well because I'd love to see a couple other companies. Asmodee has a nice backlog a nice library that they could actually bring to the system, but I'd love to see some other companies jump in and do that too.
Yeah, indeed. You see this new Pokemon game? Looks pretty good. Looks like a must own.
What? Pokemans?
Let's go Pikachu and let's go
Who's
Eevee.
putting this one out? Adult Swim?
Okay. When this came on, my daughter looked at the screen and she immediately said, "Daddy, we got to get that Pikachu game." So I'm in for the Pikachu.
Working.
Good.
For the Pikachu.
Good.
Yes.
I heard from an insider that it's not really coming together that well, and they're worried about it. I'm not going to say who, because I could get him in a lot of trouble.
I don't have any idea.
I'm
I'm sorry, I stepped away from the microphone for a minute. I just got back. What's going on, guys? What are we talking? We still on those NES games?
We talking about Super Mario Party?
I don't know. Are we?
No, because it's just Super Mario Party again.
Jesus, are we through this list yet?
No. What else we're talking about here?
Nope.
Oh, Final Fantasy stuff. So
every Final Fantasy game ever made
is coming. They're coming not only to the Switch, but to like every platform as well, including Xbox. And
that's funny because we've been talking about this for a couple months now. How they just sort of need to get all that stuff out there,
and they are, except for Final Fantasy VIII, that is not included.
That game wasn't good.
I liked that game.
Ugh.
Oh boy.
But hey, you're getting Chocobo's Dungeon.
We're getting Chocobo's Dungeon, yeah, in a version called Everybody. Buddy.
Buddy. It was kind of it's too bad they didn't go any further back than 7, though. Would have been nice to,
get more. I'm sure
4
we will.
And 6 and
we didn't even talk about the Capcom Brawling collection that they're doing. That includes Final Fight and a bunch of the other ones, Knights of the Round, and a bunch of the other
7 games.
Capcom brawlers that I never played.
Captain Commando.
You know what the real heartbreak of that collection is, though?
That it's digital?
That you're going to realize when you have like 8 different side-scrolling beat-em-ups.
They're all exactly the same.
Boy, this is exactly the same game I'm playing over and over and over, and it's really not that much fun to play these games these days.
And you could if you want a good brawler, you could just download Streets of Rage 2 on any other console for
that is also true. Yeah.
That comes into particularly sharp relief when you play them in a format that doesn't require you to pump quarters in. And you just continue forever. It's like, oh God, I may as well just put a robot here pushing this button a million times.
Yeah. It's kind of a predecessor to like Clicker Heroes.
Pretty much.
Final Fight has led to Clicker Heroes.
Yes.
Put that on the box.
Thanks, Capcom.
And they wrapped up this Nintendo Direct with the announcement that Animal Crossing is coming to the Nintendo Switch in 2019.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I will.
I do want to new Animal Crossing.
Some Animal Crossing.
I'm into it. I don't originally, like when they were doing the Isabelle, because they also announced that Isabelle is a fighter in Smash Brothers Ultimate. I thought like they were sort of milking that a little bit long. It sort of like went on a bit. I thought if they do that and it's Smash, then they have to say something about Animal Crossing Switch either way, otherwise people will be upset, right?
Yes. Yes,
and they were very minimum, basically.
They said the bare minimum.
Yeah.
They said it's coming in 2019.
Look how high res Tom Nook is.
Look at him use that computer. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So too bad that there was nothing on Metroid. I was kind of hoping to do something about that because isn't that supposed to be next year?
No, they at E3 they only announced that it was in development. They did not say a date at all or time frame. So that is all we know.
But I mean, overall, just pretty good direct.
More of it as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see any of it. Maybe that'd be a good
start.
So
Metroid is further behind in development than a game for which they could only show one character sitting behind a desk. So that sort of gives you an idea where Metroid is.
They haven't rendered the desk yet in Metroid.
Yeah,
exactly.
They haven't. They're still rendering that.
It would look stupid to have Samus just sitting there with no desk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Overall, though, I thought this was a good Nintendo Direct, considering Luigi's Mansion 3 kicking it off and Animal Crossing ending it. Those bookends are good.
Has there ever been one of these where he said that was not a very good Nintendo Direct?
Yes, the one at E3.
The one at E3, where it was 25 minutes of Smash Brothers, and
it was like a Smash Brothers Let's Play. Drove me nuts.
That one was not as exciting. I know people love Smash Brothers. I am not really one of those people. I enjoy it as
not one of those people.
I enjoy it as a celebration of Nintendo's franchises,
art.
But I don't really get into it. I'm not a competitive Smash Brothers player.
It's the Ready Player One of fighting games.
Yeah.
Remember this guy?
Yeah.
Remember this guy? Remember this character?
Yes.
CJ?
Yeah.
Will you be buying Smash Brothers Ultimate?
Of course. Yeah.
Then there you go.
Of course.
Guess
2
what?
copies because he was an MSH.
Oh yeah, that's true. Got to get that multiplayer going.
That's right. It's important.
got that family account. Gotta make use of that.
That's right. Got to get on that smartphone to do that voice chat.
All
right.
Well, your $20 a year has to pay for something.
That's true. Let's get into what we've been playing. And I think we'll kick it off with Greg because I really want to hear about the Forza Horizon demo.
Forza Horizon 4 demo came out.
I mean, I know it's awesome. I know it's awesome.
It's so awesome. That's it. That's all I have to say. Yeah, I didn't even know this demo was coming, and then suddenly someone was saying, "Oh, I think we're gonna have a Forza demo tomorrow. That'll be cool." And yeah, it really was, but quite lengthy too. I got a little bit over an hour of time out of it.
Oh,
right. It starts off kind of like every Forza Horizon game does, where it's like, okay, you're in a car now and go race, and like you have to get to the festival as fast as you can. And we're going to show you all the game's different features, but of course, Horizon 4 is all about changing seasons. So they tend to sort of flash you into different vehicles so that, you know, now you're in the snow in like a 4x4 rumbling over mountains and things, and then you're in the fall and it's wet and it's very beautiful and pretty colors and everything like that. But it seems like it's over really fast. Like when I actually played it, you get to an ending screen after you've sort of gone through that mishmash of all the different seasons and different cars. But then it's like, no, wait a second. You can continue. And when you continue, it's like, okay, here's the map and here's like 3 events, but every time you complete 1, 2 more unlock, and it just keeps going.
Isn't that what
Horizon? Well, it is, but
Horizon is.
I didn't expect
they have
to be as big.
They have that first sort of headline that at least in the previous ones, they have you do some kind of big stunt. And they occasionally do even switch you through different vehicles in that as well. And then they put you on the map and you have to unlock things yourself.
Yeah, you're describing the full game. I'm describing the demo. What I was trying to say is that I was surprised the demo was that long.
Oh, all right then.
But I mean, yeah, it's exactly what you expect it to be. It's just more Horizon. The events are pretty much the same. It's all about the location, where of course you're in ye old England, and it's nice because it offers a lot of the variety that I was hoping to see, and of course we're going to see it. Where, you know, you can be in bigger cities, and it feels like any big metropolitan area, but then you can get out into the countryside, and there's a lot of very narrow roads and a lot of stone walls and fields and all that sort of thing. Like, it's just, there's a lot of variety in the environment, which I'm really happy about. And the changing seasons, the only thing about the demo that doesn't really drive home too much is they keep mentioning that the fall season is coming. And maybe if you wait long enough, it happens, but I'm pretty sure what they're trying to say when they hint about it is like, you know, full game's coming soon. So to get to the next season, you actually have to own the full product. Yeah. But anyway, highly recommend it. You're getting a lot for a demo.
I don't remember. Do you have an Xbox One X?
No.
Or you just have a regular Xbox One?
Yeah.
And
I have an X.
1080p TV or a fancy pants TV?
No.
Okay.
I'm not made of money like Johnston over there.
We're in the same boat. I'm still with the original consoles and a 1080p TV.
I'm not one of the people that says I don't see the difference. I absolutely see the difference in a nice 4K TV and one of the new consoles. It's not a big enough difference to justify.
You just don't justify the difference. Yeah.
Not yet.
I'm with you.
He's not old enough yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Give it another 5 years, maybe. But yeah.
Well, on the X, it runs in 60 frames a second.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I've heard that. But I haven't. It ran fine. It was hitching a little bit, but not during gameplay. It was during transition scenes where I think they were hiding loading while they were actually running the transition scenes. So every now and then it would freeze frame, but it didn't affect gameplay. It's every bit as pretty as I remember. There's not a whole lot to say about it outside of that. I mean, it's just Forza Horizon again. It's a new setting, and they've added new weather. And really, if you've been playing these games for a long time, and you think back to the original games, the expansions, there was like Storm Island and Blizzard Mountain, and basically they're taking sort of the weather and everything that they introduced in those expansions and incorporating it into the proper game.
Yeah.
So I love it. It's awesome. It's great. Can't wait for it.
I still want someone someday to do a racing game that is a recreation of Cannonball Run. R.I.P. Burt Reynolds.
They absolutely should.
That'd be amazing. They had Cruisin' USA a million years ago. Yeah. Need for Speed The Run was sort of kind of flirting with that, but it would be cool to do one that is just a straight up point-to-point race from coast to coast across the USA.
That would be great.
A bunch of different crazy vehicles and
an ambulance and a Lamborghini and
Maybe they'll do that as an expansion because last time we had the Hot Wheels expansion that got a little crazy. So
it did. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe they're not going to shy away from that kind of thing.
I don't think they will. I mean, you'd have to, it'd be cool. It'd be really cool if they got a movie license or something. That's got to be cheap now, right?
There's crazy, and then there's Dom DeLuise crazy.
Well,
those are two different levels of crazy.
There you go.
But that's really interesting. Like I say, you should download it if you're even remotely interested. I know you are, CJ.
I am. I downloaded it. I just haven't gotten a chance to play it yet.
Yeah,
I want to play it.
It's a lot of content.
You can tell us what it looks like on a fancy console with a fancy TV.
Yeah,
but that's true. There is James Bond DLC coming for Horizon 4.
Oh, really?
There is?
Apparently, yeah. I think it's just
it's in England.
Yeah,
just a bunch of Aston Martins.
And apparently there's some kind of connection with Halo. There's some showcase event with Halo that people keep telling me I should look up the information on, but I would rather just kind of experience it in the game. I don't really want to know what it's going to be.
You can drive a Warthog.
Well, no, I could drive a Warthog in the last game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you have the same reaction?
It sucked.
Of course,
I'm going to drive that. Oh, this thing is terrible.
It would be great if it used the same controls as Halo 2.
That would be great.
That actually would have been great. I would have enjoyed that.
I would be more interested in that game if the Bond DLC was just like George Lazenby, just hoofing it.
Oh my god,
just hoofing it down the highway. Yeah, run it.
That would be great. It's every Bond, and they're all racing on foot, including David Niven for some reason.
Yes,
it's the all Bonds code in Forza. Please look forward to it.
Please look forward to it.
Yikes!
Yikes!
I don't know, man. Microsoft owns Rare now. Maybe there'll be a hidden version of GoldenEye.
There it is.
Oh boy.
I just figured I'd throw that out there because it's fun.
That's good.
Sure. Mike.
Sir.
You've been playing some video games probably since last week.
You still play video games, Mike?
We talked.
I still do. Not as much as I used to, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys play the Far Cry 5?
For about 2 hours.
I did, yeah.
2 hours?
Yeah.
I think I played more than Greg did.
Why did you stop?
There was something else I wanted to play at the time, and I just haven't gone back.
Yeah.
That is one of the few games this year that I've actually finished.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah. I have loved those games ever since Far Cry 2, with the exception of Primal, which I skipped because I didn't count that as a Far Cry game.
That's the reason you skipped it?
Wait, why not?
Because you're using spears and fighting animals and stuff, and that doesn't count. You need
no guns,
helicopters and rocket launchers, and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But Far Cry 5 was pretty freaking awesome. I like the premise. So here's question number 2. Have any of you ever been to Montana?
No.
I have not.
Why are you laughing?
Nothing. Sorry.
So the game takes place in Montana, right?
Yes.
I think I've driven through it.
It looks like fucking Montana. If you've never been to Montana, specifically Glacier National Park,
I was laughing because I thought you were going to say the people in it act just like the people in Montana. That's why I was laughing.
That's the next part of my comment. But
and you can befriend a bear in Montana. His name is Cheeseburger.
Yeah, I had a bear.
I'm sure you did.
But no, one of the frustrating elements of that game is that people like to shoot at you, and there were times when I wanted to play that at night where I just wanted to walk around Montana because that's how old and lame I am, and so I'd get frustrated that I was walking around looking for waterfalls, climbing mountains, and then suddenly someone shows up and wants to shoot at me, and then get into a big firefight. But
I'm actually kind of surprised because Ubisoft did like with their Assassin's Creed game, right? The one that was set in Egypt. Wasn't there a setting where you could just walk around and explore the
I think you're right.
map?
I think you're right. It's funny that rural Montana suddenly has somebody just appear to attack
you. Yeah, it fits within the premise of the game, but those people are kind of like some of the people in rural Montana. When en route to Glacier National Park, there are people who have bought huge swaths of land to put up billboards that are all about, the government can have my gun when they pry it from my cold dead hands, and like just acres and acres of billboards of that variety. But so that part is pretty genuine. But yeah, that game, I don't know. There's something about those games that I just like. The ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want, set things on fire, blow things up.
But isn't it bad, Mike, when a franchise just
here we go?
What it has been
Speaking
doing
of Spider-Man,
over and over, and what other
Spider-Man
done ad nauseum for years.
Oh boy,
yeah.
Is that the only negative thing you've seen written about Spider-Man? Because I think it's the only negative thing I've seen.
No, I saw something about how it treats police officers with too much respect.
was that a Kotaku article?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
or was that Colin Kaepernick's diary? I don't remember.
Oh, and apparently it's got some outdated marriage proposals in it. But other than that,
yeah, the press suddenly seems really. I mean, considering all the like 9s and 10s this game has gotten, the press seems to be going out of its way to try and convince everyone that you guys shouldn't like Spider-Man.
Actually, let me tell you, you've kind of you've noticed that with Spider-Man, but basically every popular game, you will see some kind of contrarian headline, and some websites are more into this than others, but they will do articles or especially videos. You'll see a lot of videos like why 10 reasons why X really popular game totally blows or is the worst game ever. Like that has become a clickbait trend on websites. You can't just enjoy a good video game now.
Well, it's the enthusiast press. And I suppose
they don't seem very enthusiastic.
No. The last thing I want out of my enthusiast press is enthusiasm. So thank you for that.
Really bugged me.
Yeah. I really want to know that the writers that I'm reading are so over whatever everyone else really likes right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I know they're on the bleeding edge.
Yeah. But yeah, the other writer was upset because Spidey, he like Peter does a little like he does like a little hard-boiled cop shtick.
It's great. Spider Cop?
Yeah, I'm Spider Cop, and I'm a gruff, no-nonsense, loose cannon. And apparently that is very offensive. Because...
Why?
Because... I mean, look.
Well,
we are in a time where it is perfectly okay for the police to burst into a random person of color's home and shoot them dead. And that's apparently fine these days. So I can understand the distrust of Johnny Law.
Mm-hmm.
But
for sure.
Spidey going around like, oh no, the chief is mad at me because I play by my own rules. Come on, man. It's silly.
Yeah.
And that article, the idea that it's the same game we've been playing for 10 years. I don't.
Well, then that's
well,
I don't think that every game needs to be a revolution, an exploration in gameplay.
Yeah.
In fact, I prefer it's not, because then we get wonderful, polished, well-refined games like Spider-Man, as opposed to starting from scratch every single time.
Where it's appropriate. Like I don't know that a Spider-Man game is the one where you decide that you're going to like come up with a wild, inventive new form of gameplay.
Right. No,
like I just want to feel like I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep. were there a lot of articles complaining about, let's say, Mario Odyssey for feeling
I
like Mario Galaxy? Or
I'm sure you can find them. I'm sure there are those.
There were some about Far Cry 5 that complained that the story did not do enough to make a strong statement, like a strong.
Oh, really?
I remember reading those articles.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, kind of by its nature, though, isn't Far Cry poised? Like, if the Far Cry developers wanted to make a more involved political message, isn't that game a little more set up to be a vessel for that sort of thing than
and I think it kind of does. I mean, the concept behind that is you're going in to like break up this religious cult that has claimed an entire county in Montana, and you get trapped in there. And anyway, like you're fighting all of these weird religious cultists.
Yeah. But I mean, the game where I got to fight Dr. Octopus, is that where I'm looking for my? Is that where I'm looking for my "fuck the police" message? You know,
right?
I don't know. Maybe
I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know if you do fight Doc Ock in that game. I have not finished it yet.
Where was the article that we're talking about as far as the gameplay? Was that
CNET?
CNET, right? Yeah. I mean, that article was just goddamn ridiculous.
It's the same article I've been reading for 10 years.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, and it's not wrong. I mean, you know, it's not wrong. Spider-Man doesn't redefine the open world genre at all. I mean,
then again, you could write the same article that we're all just playing Pong. Like, every video game is.
I kind of thought about that. I kind of flashed back to the Super Nintendo era when everything was a 2D platformer.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them were amazingly polished and beautiful.
Right.
And
then you got
some of them were garbage.
Exactly. Or after Doom became popular and you had a ton of first person shooters trying to do exactly what Doom did. Some of those were good and some were trash.
The thing is, like, you're talking about like the 16-bit era, like you look on the Super Nintendo and the amazing platforms you had on there wouldn't have existed if they started from scratch and tried to do something original every single time. Some of the best games Konami and Capcom and Nintendo ever made were on that platform, and it was because they were refining what they learned with the NES.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, Quake is fine and all, but have you guys not heard of Wolfenstein 3D? It's the same game.
Let me tell you, Doom 2016 might be a good game, but I played it 20 years ago.
What I just the other thing that struck me about that CNET article is, and I get it, then at the end of it they hold up Breath of the Wild as this is what open world games should be. They should do something completely different. And while I get
something completely different, like be more like Call of the Wild.
I was gonna say, but then on top of that, like the irony of calling out Nintendo as the company that is always doing something new and different. I mean, Jesus,
that's pretty funny.
There's no other game publisher in the world that reuses content for longer than anyone right now, right? Like,
right. Well, I mean, even within the Zelda franchise, all of those games, even though Breath of the Wild is an open world game, it's still refining the Zelda formula. They took out dungeons and whatnot. And made the weapons destructible and huge open world, but it's still a refinement on the stuff that's come before it.
Yeah,
right. What do you think the odds are that Insomniac puts a marriage proposal in their next game? Relatively low.
Fairly,
I think pretty low.
Oh man,
the least surprising thing about that story. The least surprising thing is. The guy who proposed to his girlfriend in a video game turned out to be the kind of guy who would propose to his girlfriend in a video game.
Exactly.
Turns out.
Yeah.
The internet delivers. Hey, so Spider-Man, that's a pretty awesome game, right?
Oh my god.
It's a good game.
That's the other thing I've been playing.
I like that Spider-Man game.
I was playing more tonight.
It's good.
Man. Did you I think the thing, actually going back to what you were saying, Mike, talking about Far Cry 5 and how you just kind of wanted a chance to walk around and explore. Man, Spider-Man, like amazing. Like that's all I want to do. The references you can find in that game are unreal.
Yeah.
Even little things like walking through the community center there were two guys standing looking at a bulletin board and they were talking about, one guy was saying, man, if I had superpowers, I'd probably be a wrestler. What a great gimmick. You know, like just little nods to all these other things, and like tons of references to like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Iron Fist and the Avengers, and like there's just a bunch of stuff in there. I just love they're just swinging around the city and finding stuff like that. It's just I'm barely playing the story.
Same here.
There's an elaborate side quest in the game where you end up facing off against Skip, who is one of Peter Parker's most nefarious foes from the past.
I don't know what to say to you.
You know what? Somewhere out there, Chris Baker is laughing.
That was a joke for one member of our audience.
That was not for any of us here.
Look up Skip in the Spider-Man mythos.
33% of the audience.
I was just gonna say, you're being more kind than I was gonna be, but
oh man,
the swinging around and everything is great, but man, the combat is so much fun.
Oh, it really is, right?
The game is the combat in that game, and the way you can improvise and like those construction sites. I love figuring out, okay, maybe this one I'm going to try to do as much stealth as possible, and then the next one I'm using all of my powers and pulling scaffolding down on people, and then calling in my little drone buddy. And I don't know, I just love how every one of those feels unique and different, and you can just attack them any way you want.
It kind of feels like an evolution of Ratchet and Clank's combat, where you have all these guys. It's been done before.
For 10 years.
I totally agree with you. Like, not for a long time anyway, has there been a game where there's been combat like this that is just so fast, and you feel like you are in control of it at all times, like, and you can interrupt things and change styles so fast. Like it's just really amazing.
Go down, beat the crap out of some guys, zip back up onto one of the girders and wait until you can stealth a little more, and then zip back down again. I don't know.
The scene I did just before we started recording was exactly that. Like it was a area we went in. It was in a dockyard area, and there was a bunch of Fisk's guards there and a bunch of snipers, and the whole point was to go around and pick off all the snipers first.
Right. I love that part.
Right. And then like I was trying to stealth my way through the rest, but I kind of screwed up. But you know what? It didn't matter, because it was like you can switch so quickly into just hand-to-hand combat, and just even being able to bounce off the walls and launch attacks and pull weapons out of hands. And one thing that I didn't realize I could do at first for some reason was that if you shoot webs at somebody, you get them trapped. If you punch them to the point that they hit a wall, they get webbed to the wall.
Oh, really?
You can take them right out of the battle.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know that.
Such a cool feature that I had no idea existed.
I've just been throwing them into the wall.
I haven't tried that yet, but I know that I can. I just haven't done it.
Yeah, if you
I love all
web
the
them
counters too.
Oh,
like when you time a roll just right, and he shoots a web at them as he's dodging.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So much. Just Hallo's just kind of instinctively, if you're near like a lamppost or something in the middle of a combo, he'll just jump and rebound off the lamppost and sock the dude. Yeah, it's really nice.
This is a perfect game for me. I don't care about any superheroes whatsoever except Spider-Man, who I have loved since I was like 7 years old, and buying comics that were 25 cents a piece. So I haven't watched the stupid ass Avengers movie just so I could see Spider-Man. That was a waste of time.
You must have been a delight to go see the Avengers with. I would have loved to.
Oh, I didn't go to a theater. I pirated that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to pay money for that.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah.
Did I hear you on Twitter correctly? You traded in God of War for Spider-Man?
I did. Did you guys play God of War?
For about sort of 3 hours.
I did not.
Tell you,
never touched it again.
I don't think there's anyone who loves that series of games more than I do.
Yeah.
God damn, that new one was so boring.
That's the reason you didn't like it.
So boring. Yeah. I don't know. There were a number of things. I think first of all, like in the last series of games, everybody was always saying, oh man, you could apply this template to any form of mythology. You could do Norse mythology. You can't do Norse mythology because Norse mythology is not nearly as interesting as Greek mythology, especially for a video game. Like Greek mythology is set up with a cast of characters that makes for a perfect rogues gallery in a video game, and doesn't quite work the same in Norse mythology.
Hmm.
And it also makes it, I don't know, the game was a lot darker and slower and plodding. And I liked that Kratos used to be kind of like Spider-Man. He was really nimble and quick, and you had the chaos blades, and you could bounce around and flip people around, and it moved 90 miles an hour. And this is trudge, trudge, trudge. So everything feels heavy and has impact, and I can see why people would like that, but it doesn't interest me that much.
Yeah, I get why people liked it for sure, but I'm totally along the same lines as you, because for me, for a God of War game, what I loved about those games was just walking into the next room filled with enemies and just being this like whirling instrument of death, like just the blades would be spinning and you'd have the long range attacks, and it all just felt so intuitive, and that's what I want out of it. And the combat in God of War, the new God of War, is really good, but it's not what I want.
Right.
It also seems like the whole package is probably more of a spectacle overall, but it doesn't feel like the same kind of spectacle the old games used to be, where you're fighting and then the thing zooms out and you realize that you're a little teeny fly on the back of a giant that you're fighting on, and that was way more interesting to me.
Here comes a Titan crawling out of the sandstorm, and you got to get on top of it and fight your way through. And
I also did not like the puzzles. I found them to be more... I get really bugged in games when I feel like puzzles are more procedures than puzzles. Like, I get what I need to do. It just takes me forever to do it. So I lift up the big rock, and I lumber over here, and I put it down, and it opens this thing up, and then I go do that, and then I come back down to where I was, and I pick the rock up again, and I trudge over to this other place, and I put the rock down here, and then it opens up this other thing. It feels like a lot of steps, rather than like a puzzle that I'm using my brain to solve. I didn't like it. That's what I'm saying.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
It bummed
Controversial
me out, 'cause I
opinion.
really wanted to like it.
That is going to, I think a lot of Game of the Year discussions on podcasts are going to be about God of War versus Spider-Man.
Yeah, it'll be short.
It'll come down to that.
Pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
Far Cry 5.
I would put Far Cry 5 above God of War for sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Phil.
Yes.
Did you have anything besides Spider-Man?
No, I've only been playing Spidey this week, so
yeah.
I've also been playing some NBA 2K19, which I know you guys don't care about, but I just wanted to mention because ever since Fight Night Champion decided they should do like a cinematic story mode.
Oh yeah.
People have been saying, hey, you could apply this to, you could do like a football story mode.
Or Norse mythology.
You could do it in Norse mythology. What? NBA 2K19 now, my career, my player mode has what is sort of like a movie cinematic mode that's trying to tell a story. Regrettably, they're trying to do things like be funny and have a romantic angle to it. Inadvisable, like incredibly inadvisable. I'm only like an hour and a half into it, but so far I've spent most of my time when I'm not actually playing basketball wincing at how, I mean, they're swinging for the fences. God bless them. But
are you saying that sports video games can't have good stories? They can't tell good stories.
I thought Fight Night Champion had an amazing story.
I'm curious though. Because how does it work in a team-based sport? Like, do you find, is that one of the problems too? Like, poor writing aside and everything, like, does the idea work for a team-based sport? Because with Fight Night, I mean, you're the boxer. You are the team.
It does not work well for Madden because but it works just fine for basketball, because in basketball you can sort of try to take over a game on your own. Like, you can hog the ball and put up all the shots and try to be the man.
True.
You can't really do that in a game of football.
No, everyone has to play the role in football. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it works from that aspect of it, and they try to play that up too. Like some of the goals in the games become like outscoring one of your fellow teammates, which is not,
interesting,
ideal if you're actually playing basketball, but it makes it work for the video game. But these story moments, you should go to YouTube and see if you can look at some of them, because goodness.
I want that story mode in NHL 19, but only for the goalies. So you have to play the goalie the entire game.
Speaking of ugly people, I have to admit that I am not assisting in this because I also use their app to put my actual face in the game.
No.
Oh, what?
And so,
wow.
and so
can we get a screenshot of this?
Yeah, I want to see these romance scenes with your face.
Everyone else in the game looks like a normal Homo sapien. My character looks like he has the body of a Homo sapien and the head of Cro-Magnon man. And it's quite a spectacle.
Yeah, you got to send some screenshots of
that. It definitely adds to the comedic effect.
Jam that PS4 share
comedic
button.
Effect. Yeah. Okay. I can do that.
It's funny that we've come so far, and putting your face in a video game is not a new thing. They did that a long time ago
too.
Even the N64 Perfect Dark was supposed to have that, if you remember. Right?
That is true.
Yep. It's a surprisingly arduous process too. You use an app on the iPhone, and you have to hold it up and like move it around your head so it's capturing it from various sides. And it took me forever to get the thing to actually register that I was doing it correctly. It was like, don't move your head so fast. Okay, now don't move your head so slowly. Now don't move your head so much. Now move your head more. It drove me crazy, and I finally got it to work. And then I saw the result.
You're like, oh God! You call your wife, and it's like, is that what I look like? I remember doing that for some game on the PlayStation 2, which of course back then you were using like an iToy, so it was a stationary camera.
Yeah,
and realizing how important lighting is.
Yeah,
I remember my character in the game just had this hard shadow diagonally across its face. It just there's nothing you can do about it. It was just because the lighting wasn't even.
Yeah.
But looked gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, was that all you've been playing, Mike?
Other than, just some other random things. Like, you like driving games, Greg Seward? I do. Do you ever play them on your phone?
I played Horizon Chase, and I played, what was the EA one? I think it was EA that owned it.
I don't know. Probably some sort of Need for Speed.
It wasn't Need for Speed, but yeah, I don't play a lot of them. I find driving games generally not really all that playable.
Well, this one is kind of interesting. It's the ninth entry in the Asphalt series. Asphalt 9. Can you believe there are 9? This one, you don't even steer the car.
Oh, perfect.
Makes for racing game.
Racing with all of that pesky driving.
I love it.
The worst thing about playing one of those on the phone is trying to drive, because if you use tilt controls, it sucks. If you use touch controls, it sucks. If you try to, there's no way to make it work. So this one, all you do is when you push your finger on the screen, it makes your car drift around corners. And the more you drift, when you drift, you lose speed, but you pick up nitrous, and then you can use the nitrous to boost. Okay. So it's like you're just balancing the drift and the nitrous to try to win races.
The funny thing is, the mechanic you describe has been in a lot of iOS driving games. And if there are 9 of these Asphalt games, and this is the first one to employ that control scheme, they're like copying off of at least a half dozen other games.
I have to admit my ignorance to 1 through 8 of the Asphalt oeuvre. I don't know that I haven't sampled all their wares, but I can tell you that this one is worth looking at just because it's got really impressive graphics. Like it is kind of a spectacle on the iPhone. It's pretty cool. And it has it has these branching paths that you just swipe left or right to choose different paths, and then it's just that really simple mechanic to do the driving. It's pretty cool.
Huh. I'm gonna check it out. Probably not, but
it's free.
Okay, I'll check it out.
There's also a really good boxing game that's free called Boxing Star. That's sort of like a punch-out kind of a game. It's really fun, and it's free. You should check that out too.
You still playing Golf Clash?
I still play Golf Clash too. That's a great game.
Yeah. Indeed.
Weren't you playing that when you were in Vegas last year with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been playing that for a while.
Yep.
It's a really good game.
It is. All right. We've been
Sea of Thieves.
Around.
Let's go Sea of Thieves.
We've been bouncing around. Of course I've been playing Sea of Thieves. Yes. I don't think anyone else needs to hear anything about that. You got any questions about Sea of Thieves there, Mike?
Oh, so many.
Burning questions you want to ask me about Sea of Thieves? Okay, we can get into tweets.
Wait, when do we do our Blue Apron ad?
Never.
Because I want to talk about how much Blue Apron has changed my life and made me a better person.
Oh, I agree.
You want to talk about your Casper mattress too? Got one of those.
Sure. And my moisture wicking underwear.
Wait, what? I am interested.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
This underwear wicks the moisture directly to my house. So
I don't even wear them. I just use them for kitchen cleanup because they do so much moisture wicking.
Oh man! And CJ, CJ, how jealous are you that while you sit in your dank basement playing Sea of Thieves, I'm out there living it?
I'm not jealous at all.
You wish you could live the life I lead.
You're not half the seaman that Phil is.
No. Sailing the high seas.
I'm a pirate legend now, I'll have you know.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah. You're still a landlubber in my book.
Sea of Thieves is my Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same game you've been playing for 10 years?
Almost. No. It feels like it.
You've put 10 years worth in, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think I'm over 400 hours now. Yeah.
God.
Right. All right.
Jeez.
Anyway,
yeah,
I think we should get
tweedly deedly dee. Tweedly deedly dee. Tweet.
Alrighty, let's start with this one from Hacker Alias Shigemoto, who says, "What he has two questions.
Oh,
what Final Fantasy game heading to Switch are you most excited for?" That's his first question. We should go ahead and answer that.
I don't have a Switch.
Final Fantasy 9.
That's my answer.
I don't.
Although I have that on PS4.
I'll say the same, Final Fantasy 9. Although I doubt I will ever play it on the Switch.
Yeah,
I will say Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon.
Everybody.
I would choose 10. Final Fantasy 10.
There you go.
I never played Final Fantasy 10. Never even
I
bothered
love
with it.
that
It was
game.
good. I've heard it's good.
Damn good.
I've heard it's good. I should try that
very good.
when it comes out.
You won't.
I won't, but I should.
It has a pirate ship.
Ooh, I'm more interested already.
I don't think it has a pirate ship.
Well, then I'm no longer interested. And then he says, what difficulty are you playing Spider-Man on? Be honest, I'm playing on friendly because I want to enjoy the game without too much frustration.
Same here.
I have it on whatever the default one is.
I have it on whatever the default was.
Same
and
here.
I'm not finding it to be difficult in any way.
Did hear, I kind of ran into this, like when starting the game, I died twice on the first mission, and I heard people on Twitter saying that they died multiple times against Kingpin. Which I only died once there.
I did not die during Kingpin. I did die pretty early in the game, just because I was still getting used to the combat system.
Yeah, I think I died once fighting Shocker, but that was...
I'm playing on friendly, and I still die once in a while.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, really.
Whatever.
Here's one thing that I really like about new style video games is that they don't cut content or like change the trophies or whatever, depending on which difficulty you're playing on. Right? Like, I love that. Because that used to be a thing when the Xbox 360 first introduced achievements, and when difficulty levels, people were still filling those out. You'd lower the difficulty and you would miss content.
When we all played Call of Duty 2 on the hardest difficulty setting.
Of course. That's how you get the most out of the game.
Well, that was the only way to get achievements.
That was a fool's gambit.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That game, all the achievements were on the hardest difficulty level.
Oh, my. Well, they want to make it feel like you've achieved something, Greg.
That's why I played at that level.
It's called an achievement system.
They can't all be Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And when I realized that my
medal system.
Then I realized that my current gamer score isn't even half of what Mike's gamer score was 8 years ago.
That's because I played The Last Airbender.
Alrighty, let's do this one from Acralius Mook201, who says, just played Onrush on Game Pass and had a blast. Do you think it would have been successful if it debuted on Game Pass? And do you think we'll ever see a big third-party game debut on Game Pass?
Do you really think there were already 200 people that had chosen the name Mook?
Possible.
Yeah.
Possible. Yeah.
I guess that's possible. Do you think he tried 200 times before he landed on that?
I like
Jesus, how many of these are there?
That's a good question. Mook201, please tweet in with your answer on that.
I mean, a big like a AAA game release through Game Pass debut that does happen with Microsoft stuff, but I guess what he's probably asking is if that would be
third party.
Yeah, third party.
I mean, already there are indie games that are doing this, right? Most recently, Graveyard Keeper debuted on Game Pass, and Bomber Crew from Team 17 debuted on Game Pass. So, and there are already indie games or sort of triple I, if you want to call it that.
Did you say triple I?
What just happened?
I said triple I.
Nope. Huh? Nope. We're not doing that.
What?
Get out of that.
What, you don't want me to say triple I?
Nope.
Triple I games.
Isn't that right? That's going right with Shmup and Metroidvania. We're not doing that ever again.
I don't even know what that is. What is that? What is triple I?
Larger than
it's an indie with a lot of marketing muscle.
That's right. Yeah. Basically, yes. But we
have also abolished Wiimote, right? We're
still not saying that one. No.
Okay.
And I guess we're banishing triple I as well. But yeah, there have already been games that have debuted on Game Pass, like at least one a month so far, and those have mostly been indies. But I do imagine that at some point we will see a larger game do it. Onrush being the fastest that we've seen a third-party game go to Game Pass, and it's very sad because that game is awesome.
Do all of you guys do Game Pass?
No,
I do. I do not.
Do I'm the only one. Do you do PlayStation Now?
No, I do not.
Interesting.
I love the idea behind all of that, but I don't use it.
PlayStation Now is awesome if you catch it the one time of year that they sell a 1-year subscription for $99.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's $20 a month, which is fucking insane.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's
But well, what $99 for a year is great.
For Game Pass, I think they're running a special where you get Forza Horizon 3 and Forza 6 for $99, and you get a year of Game Pass with it.
That's good.
So anyway, Game Pass is a great deal.
The games I buy now, so yeah, I can't spend that money on those things.
Yeah, that's
I would see is the amount of money I'm wasting every month not playing the games that I could play on.
Yeah, that's actually my problem too. I have a backlog that is generations deep at this point. Yeah. So,
but you know those nights where you're like, I want to play something and I don't know what to play and I don't feel like playing anything, and then you open PlayStation and you're like, oh look, there's Pac-Man Champion Edition.
That's exactly how Game Pass is as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I have the Switch for. Hey, look, there's Balloon Fight. And
there it is.
There's Urban Champion.
Damn it.
They wanted to play that.
All right.
One time in my life, I actually did want to play Urban Champion, and it's not going to be available.
It's not going to be there.
Including when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to play it then.
Yeah.
All right. Hacker alias Channing King says, if you've had a chance to spend much time with Spidey, which are you now looking forward to more, a Spider-Man sequel or the next game from Rocksteady?
I don't know if you know this, but Rocksteady didn't make Spider-Man.
I think that is correct.
That's why you invited you on the show this week, Mike.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That brutal truth that you bring to,
Brutal.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't finished this Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be clamoring. Like, as much as I love this, I don't think I'm going to be clamoring for a sequel to it, because a sequel really would just be
more
of the same.
Yeah.
And there is DLC coming, so
they're doing
that is true.
Multiple DLC episodes.
Yeah.
My answer would be the next game that Insomniac is doing.
My answer is I can't wait for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but I'm not buying it right now because I want to finish Spider-Man first.
There you go.
And actually, now that I think about it,
I know Ethan wrote that too. And I was like, "What?"
Ethan said that exactly.
Even are you?
How do you feel, Greg, about uncapped spending?
Don't like it.
There you go.
Could I answer that?
Don't like it.
Yes, please do.
I like it.
There you
I'm
go.
a big fan.
You're
all of those iPhone games that I talked about, free.
Yes. Yeah.
You know why they're free? Because
spending.
Dummies will pay $1 trillion for them. But you know what that means? That means I get games for free.
That's Darwin.
I play them until I get bored with them, and then I delete them.
There we go.
I play them until it says, "Hey, you can't play until you wait 3 more hours," and I say, "Fuck you,
Goodbye.
I'm done then."
Yep.
It's an amazing pro tip there.
Oh man.
Yes.
A compelling argument for uncapped spending.
Indeed.
There it is.
Okay. Let's do this one from.
I'm pretty sure that's how the Affordable Care Act works too.
Let's do this one from Lolmanade, who says, "Looking back,
I just can't stop getting colonoscopies."
And broadcasting them.
Is that what you keep going to Bill Mudron's house for?
You know what? Boys got to have their hobbies. You know, if you're sitting around building a giant Lego set, you got to be good.
I hear Mudron gives a good colonoscopy.
You know
anyway.
What? Don't knock it till you try it, buddy.
Let's do this one from Lolmanade, who says, "Looking back, Spider-Man 2 would have been a generally mediocre game if not for how good traveling the world with its web swinging felt. Any other games you can think of that had one mechanic or trait save it from being bad?"
The current Spider-Man game. Want to call out, by the way, last week I said that I thought that Spider-Man 2 was the game where they were faking the web travel, where it was just you're shooting into the sky. I was wrong about that. Spider-Man 2 was the only game where they weren't doing that. Every other game was like that.
Aha. Well then.
I don't know.
What about Crackdown without agility orbs? Kind of not great. It would be a mediocre game.
Are you talking about the collection aspect of, or the powers granted?
The powers granted by.
Yeah, the power upgrades in Crackdown were what made Crackdown.
Well, yeah, of course,
fun because it was great to get to the point where you could jump and you're literally jumping to the top of buildings.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, pretty mediocre game.
I'd say Madden without the football would probably be pretty terrible.
Doom, if they took the guns away.
Yeah.
Where you're just walking through mazes filled with demons.
Wouldn't that just be the what was that Namco game where it's just a first person brawler? Wouldn't that just be what it was?
I don't know what game you're talking about.
No, I mean, I can't think of it.
No.
What about Dead or Alive without boob physics?
There we go.
Wow.
Another one.
I think Hackerilius Lolmanade meant this is more of a serious question. But
I don't know. I can't think of any game in particular.
What game would not have been awesome without the parts that made it awesome?
Answer:
all games.
The game I was thinking of was Breakdown, by the way. TFX got in our chat.
Breakdown. Okay.
It's a Namco game on the Xbox, I believe.
I have no recollection of that game whatsoever.
What about Kokto Chojin? You remember that game?
Pardon?
Was that the one that had the song that was chanting passages from the Quran?
That's the one. That's the one.
There you go. So Kokto Chojin without the passages from the Quran. Kokto Chojin.
Toe Jam?
Yes.
Kokto Toe Jam? Is that Earl's out of town, so we got to get Kokto to
Hold on. I'll pronounce it in American. Kakuto Chojin.
Oh, okay.
What made you think of that game?
I don't know.
He's just been reading the Quran.
Yeah, got pulled off shelves.
I remember that, yeah.
Sneakers without the mice.
Oh, now who's being all flip with the answers?
Sneak King without Burger King?
Actually, yeah, Sneak King without the Burger King would have been. I would have had no reason to play that game.
I feel bad. This person is never going to write back to us.
They are. We're never hearing from Lominate again.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yaris without the cars.
I don't know. I think it would have been better.
Hacker alias adever3456 says
again. Well, never mind.
All right, yeah,
3455 before. Yeah, had that name.
Well, Spider-Man.
It sounds like it doubles as their password.
Possibly. Will Spider-Man open up the possibility for more good non-Lego superhero games?
Yeah, I think it could. I mean, and I wouldn't just lay it at the feet of Spider-Man. I think Batman,
those
the Arkham series, did that as well. I mean, there are definitely fewer good superhero games, I think, for a while there.
There are not very many good superheroes. That's the problem.
Also true.
The reason there hasn't been a good Superman game is because Superman's fucking boring.
Oh my goodness.
We were talking about that today, actually.
Yeah.
But no, I think because especially when you consider the fact that we don't do movie game tie-ins anymore.
Right.
Like we used to. You don't get as many superhero games, right?
The difference is, I think, and it started with the Rocksteady games, right? Where they had more time to develop a good game around a license.
As opposed to 6 months to get something out the door.
Just a quick cash in. And then, I don't know how long Spider-Man was in development, but it was definitely longer than 12 months. So, that's part of it too. Like, you have to have a licensor with an IP that is willing to take the time, and you have to have a good developer enough to take the time to put into an IP game like this, right?
And you have to have a story and a cast of characters that lend themselves to a video game. What are you going to do with the Flash?
Right.
Oh, it turns into
real fast.
Sonic R.
Who are the Flash's enemies?
Captain Cold. and hold on to your hats.
What?
Captain Cold.
And a real thing.
That is a real thing. There is actually a Captain Cold. And Reverse Flash.
Reverse
Flash. So
you're really slow?
Please take the medium seriously. Reverse Flash can run incredibly quickly.
In all seriousness,
going backwards at the time.
As much as I love this, in all seriousness, Mike made a really good point, because with Batman and Spider-Man, you have this great rogues gallery of villains
that
everybody loves. You have terrible ones too. Like, I mean, in Batman, they actually kind of poke fun at some of them, but like Calendar Man and things like that. But overall, like you have a lot of great villains.
Joker and Riddler and Scarecrow and Penguin and Catwoman.
Yeah.
And then the same for Spider-Man. But then the farther you go down the list of superheroes, the harder that gets.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. But all that being said, the original question, because Spider-Man's selling like crazy, there'll definitely be a couple IP licensors out there that will be like,
well, I look forward to fighting Reverse Flash.
Mm-hmm.
I hear the Ghost World license is pretty cheap these days. So
the Phantom? Can we get the Phantom?
Maybe Ubisoft can get that Scott Pilgrim license back. And
there we go.
Done.
I want to see a AAA hate game based on the old Peter Bag comics. So,
okay,
that's an old indie comic.
Let's do this one.
Read a book, you
hippie.
A comic book?
Yes. Sequential.
Way to shame people.
Thank you.
Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Docky, who says,
yes,
are there any game series you enjoy, but you don't enjoy the most popular title? I've completed 13 Zelda games, but I can't get into Link to the Past. The only
you know what? Nope. Move on.
The only one of my games I've completed are the 3 Crystal Chronicle games on GameCube and DS.
Game series I don't like the most popular one. I don't know if there
apparently that's me with God of War.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good answer.
Huh. Yeah. I liked Chinatown Wars, and I don't generally like GTA.
Oh man, I loved Chinatown Wars.
My favorite GTA game is Bully. Does that count?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Ugh.
I don't have a good answer for this.
Yeah.
I don't have a good answer for that. Well, Chinatown Wars.
I only like popular games, so
Yeah.
it's difficult for me to
If
answer.
they're not, if I can't find 15 articles telling me why I shouldn't like what I'm playing, I don't want to play it.
Yes. All right, now we have 2 questions for Mike specifically. This one from Hacker Alias Mr. Nelson, who says, I have lost interest in mainstream games. Does Mike have any lesser known games he recommends? His picks were my favorites when he was 4th chair.
First of all, thanks.
It was Mr. Nelson.
Mr. Nelson.
So was Mr. Nelson taken, and he went Mr. Nelson? And if that was taken, Mr. Nelson?
Possibly.
Is this?
I think he's actually the original member of the band, Mr. Mister.
Mr.
He's a big fan of Mr. Mister.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll have Phil singing Kyrie. No?
Kyrie!
You
Look
don't know the
out.
song at all.
You don't know the song.
I don't know Kyrie. I'm
Wait,
sorry.
hold on. Here we go.
I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think you're strong enough. There you go.
Oh.
That's Cher.
Thank you. See, I'm not alone. Everyone laughed at me because I knew Cher lyrics last week, and there you go.
Hey,
Mike knows them
same
too.
with me. Well, you know what? I believe Greg. The only one here who doesn't know Cher lyrics is
Yeah,
CJ.
really.
So
CJ's the weirdo.
very uppity.
We're all normal.
One guy who's not down.
Hey,
I tend to like a lot of little weird indie games, and I played a ton of those last year, and they're all kind of similar, but I still like them anyway. Like my favorite game last year was Abzu. I don't know how many people played Abzu.
I played Abzu.
Abzu.
So it was a good time.
I finished Abzu.
Sure.
Beautiful.
Rime was also really good. Rime, Rime. There was another one called Ure that was really good. These are all on PlayStation. That game, Gorogoa, on the iPhone.
That's a
was
good
pretty
game.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's also available on Switch.
Also available on Switch.
cheaper on iPad.
That's cheaper on iPad, sure.
I also really like those PlayLink games. Have any of you guys played any of those PlayLink games that you actually play with your phone on the PlayStation?
No,
I know they were
PS
doing
Plus.
a bunch of those for a while, but I've never tried one.
So if you have a pal that you want to play through a game with, or a spouse, and you download Hidden Agenda and play that on your phones, it's really fun.
Huh.
It's like a murder mystery game, and you each play on your phone, and you make decisions together or disagree, and it helps you choose a path through and solve the murder mystery. And then there's another game called That's You, that's like a You Don't Know Jack style game, but everybody plays with their own cell phone. So I played that with my wife and my daughters, and we had a grand old time with that.
Nice.
Game was really fun. Those are all really kind of cool.
Mike.
Or I would just get PlayStation Now, and you'll have a whole
there you
shitload of games that you can play, including lots of indie games. Yes, sir.
True.
Did you play Night in the Woods?
No, I couldn't decide whether I liked the art style of that or not.
Okay. Yeah, I've been meaning. My wife played through it. She quite enjoyed it. But
I've heard lots of good things about it, and it seems like a game that I would like, but I could not quite decide if that art style would bug me or not.
Yeah. I need to sit down.
Cute critters.
Right. So.
Because the subject matter does not match little cute critters necessarily, right?
No,
it's serious.
I guess it's a little more kind of morose. Burnt out factory town kind of setting. So,
kind of place you hold a Trump rally.
Yeah.
Yikes.
We're bringing them jobs back, y'all.
That's right. They're coming.
Hooray. Hager alias Rich Grisham.
Beautiful coal.
Says, what are
clean burning,
delicious coal.
What are Mick's favorite sports games from the past few years?
Rich making up for lost time.
Yeah.
Isn't it the same 3 games released every year? I mean, I do kind of miss the days, like the Super Nintendo days, when even Sony ImageSoft had a football game. And there were like 4 or 5 different ones to choose from. All of them but Madden were shit, but you had choices.
Wasn't Game Day good once in a while? I thought
Game Day originally, Game Day was really good, and then when they went to full polygon graphics, Game Day was really good.
A lot of that happened. So,
yeah, I mean, I would just be saying like the same 3 games that get released every year, right? NBA 2K and Madden, and I don't know. Golf Clash is really freaking good. Play Golf Clash.
That game is good.
It's a sports game. I'm bummed out that there are fewer sports game choices now. I think that's a drag.
I think it's sad. I think we really had something when I think it wasn't the greatest when everybody and their dog had sports, like Virgin had a sports label, and there were 5 or 6
quarterback club. And,
there was a little too much, but when we whittled it down to 2 or 3 major choices for every sport, it was
there's one NFL game, there's one MLB game.
I hate that. One NHL
That's a
game.
real drag. Yep. Kind of sucks.
All right, let's wrap it up with this one from Hacker Alias, the famous Paul, who says, Switch is getting board games. What board or card game would you wish to see ported? Phil, please make Pokemon trading card game on Switch happen. Also, does Greg take his strawberry woo-woos with or without salt on the rim?
I don't know what a strawberry woo-woo is.
Maybe you'll have
back to the colonoscopy thing.
I think so. Sounds like it would itch.
I have no control over what games come to Switch, unfortunately.
I order them to make it.
How about Ouija board? Ouija board would be good.
I answered this earlier today, but for the show, Asmodee has a bunch of great games in the library, and the few that I really love are Seven Wonders, Jamaica, Formula D. Those ones in particular, I would love to see digital versions of, especially Formula D, because Formula
D would be cool.
It's a great racing board game. To get a really great experience out of it, you need a decent amount of players, and it's really hard to get people together to play that because it takes a long time. So I'd love to see that.
Count me in for Catan.
Well, that's already coming.
I know it's coming, but I'm really excited about it.
Mike is very excited about a Ouija board, whereas I, a true fan, would want a Waluigi board. Think about it sounds a bit similar to a Ouija board, you see, but with a Nintendo twist. So
what's in your hand?
Don't mind that.
So it looks like a penis, only smaller.
You were. It's a little Transformer toy.
Oh, Jesus. Is the show over?
Oh, righty. And that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at playeronpodcast.com. There you'll find Generation 16 episodes from Mr. Greg Stewart.
Script is ready. Start editing video this week.
Got to lay it down. And also laid down on playeronepodcast.com. You'll find the show notes to this episode. We'll link to all kinds of games and the stuff we talked about, which will really just be a link to the Nintendo Direct.
Oh, boy.
Yep. And that's about it. Oh, and the articles that we talked about, talking about Spider-Man. And what else we got? We got one of them Discords. The link to that is in our Twitter profile or in the show notes. And if you don't like that, if you're more old school and you like a message board, we got one of them too. And you can talk about video games and the show and all that stuff with us and our other listeners.
But not the latest episode.
Not the latest episode.
Don't do threats for the latest episodes anymore.
Well, see, that was one of them automatic RSS feed things, and once it stopped doing it automatically, that's it.
Just didn't give a shit.
Wow. Terrible.
Yeah.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting playeronepodcast.com or by loading up the Apple Podcast app.
Yeah.
You can also head over to the App Store and invest $1.99.
Cheap.
In the Player One Podcast iPhone application, which gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, what have you. You also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone, telephone users, the Player One podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
That's right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. You can on Stitcher. You can like us on Facebook. You can do you can watch archives of our show or see us live most weeks on the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. Just follow our Twitter. Find out when we will be recording our next live episode. It's usually on Sundays, but not today.
Nope.
Hope you figured that one out, jerks. Because we did it early.
We had a super special guest this week.
We did.
Yep. And I'm not going to be here on Sunday.
Because that's the part we care about.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's
hey, if you like what you've heard, and how could you? Well, maybe you will this week. Mike's here. You can head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It keeps CJ. What are you doing this week, CJ?
I don't know.
Flying to Japan.
There you go.
CJ's got to pay for that Japan airfare somehow.
He's got to pay for those vending machine panties.
They don't pay for themselves. Well, sometimes they do.
That makes for an embarrassing work expense.
Probably not that uncommon in the industry.
Mr. Johnston, what does miscellaneous pantytainment entail?
Is that the name of the drink I have to drink down in Vegas?
That might be. That's a good one.
That's a typo. Pantsu was supposed to be katsu. That was for dinner.
Works for me.
If you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 or higher tier, not only does it make you feel great and give your skin a warm glow, but you gain access to a delightful post-show feed.
Yeah.
Most weeks. We didn't do one last week.
Mike, are you going to stick around for that, or you got to go? You stick around for our after show?
I could probably do that.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Listen, hey, Mike, calm down.
Reason.
Is there any nudity?
That depends. That was what you were bringing this week.
Although it's not a video podcast at that point. So.
Yeah.
But we're the only ones who see the video, so all holds, no holds barred.
Trust me. It's
all
penis
holds
almost
All
smaller.
holds barred, please. Please hold all bars.
So yeah, you can do that. Hey, even if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to generation-16.com where you can find the Patreon link to help support Greg Stewart's outstanding web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Yes, please.
The new episode. Did you post something about that the other day?
But yeah, I mentioned it earlier that the script is finished.
That's right. That's right.
And all the footage is captured. So now I just got to get to editing.
Nice.
Piece it together.
And upload it to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, if you like our show, or if you like amusing things, entertaining things, shows. Yeah, we in a matter of weeks are heading to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. The good folks at Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social have invited us back to Scoop Fest this year. We were there last year, had a ball, and everyone is invited. You can come on out to Vegas October 11th through the 14th. There's going to be live podcasts, improv, comedy, magic, food, folks, and fun. Is going to be a hoot and a holler.
In fact, coming up on the deadline to buy tickets to the VIP night.
Oh, yeah, which is on the 11th. We're going to go to the Tournament of Kings at the Excalibur. So head over to heyscoops.com/player1 to pick up your tickets. You get a discounted rate on your your tickets for that.
Indeed.
If you go to that link. So hopefully we'll see everyone there. Mike, are you going to be? I feel like I'm putting you on the spot. Are you coming down?
Undetermined.
Undetermined. So if you like your entertainment undetermined, folks.
He's definitely showing. Wow.
Wow. DJ bringing the hammer down. Very forceful. No. There we go. But Mike was there last year, and we had a grand old time.
Did have a grand old time.
Yeah.
Mike, you could come down and eat in the dark with us.
Oh,
with Phil, that's fun.
Jeez,
but we have to bring Phil.
That is. Oh my goodness,
That was most of the entertainment, was just listening to Phil be anxious about it.
I have a great time at Scoop Fest, but there's about 2 hours of Scoop Fest that I absolutely deplore, and it is the.
I loved it.
It is the eating.
It's the part where he's not eating fucking Oreos and Lunchables.
Your anxiety, actually made my food taste better.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. You know what though, Mike? Even if it was just a big old plate of Oreos sitting in front of me, I'd be just about to vomit in just terror.
See what I mean? It's absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could tell me, Phil, it's a big plate of Oreo cookies. That's all it is. Just mealworms. Touch it. You've handled an Oreo before. You know what it feels like. And I'd be like, I'm sure it certainly feels like one. But you know what? I've never felt a chicken heart. So maybe they're serving up some sort of fried chicken heart.
What?
I don't know. Man, people eat weird crap, dude.
Or it could turn out that plate of Oreos is a big plate of Hydrox.
Oh!
Then
plate of Oreos.
Mike, come on. Sorry.
It's a family show.
Yeah. So, yeah, join us at Scoop Fest. CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Phil.
For this and that.
Sure.
Gregory.
Yo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Phil.
And very much extra thanks to our super special guest, the man whose departure dropped the quality of our show.
Oh my God.
By a degree that scientists are still calculating. Mr. Mike Phillips.
Blue Apron, though, seriously. it turns out, no, I'm not kidding. Bok choy.
Oh, yeah?
Is real. I've seen bok choy.
Yeah?
It's a real thing. I've cooked it. I've eaten it. It's made me like 30% better as a man, as a human.
30%.
Yep.
It's high praise.
Blue Apron.
Now, Mike, if I were
blueapron.com/ Mike Phillips. For your 20% discount.
How would I feel eating Blue Apron in the dark? Would I be more comfortable?
Oreos.
That's actually one of their new meal plans.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect.
Where you have to commit to eating it in the dark, so they just send you bits and pieces left over from previous shipments.
And a blindfold.
Is that part of the deal? Where
it's all bok choy.
Whatever you don't eat from Blue Apron, you get to send back.
You have to send it back.
Or do you get a partial refund? Or
that's exactly how it works. Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
That makes perfect sense. But thank you, Mike, for being here.
Thank you. We should do this again sometimes.
We should.
Definitely in less time than another year.
Yeah.
All right, then.
I mean, every
I'll
week.
Play a game.
6 months.
I'll play a video game and see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Yeah. Well, you're going to play a game in a second here on the after show. If you keep recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't turn off that recording.
Okay.
Well, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
CJ.